Welcome to the ECG podcast, a show where some East Coast buddies who have never met in person gather remotely once a week to hang out and talk about our love of video games and other shared interests. I'm one of your hosts, Chris Waterman. On this week, June the 18th, we will be talking about E3, doing our post-mortem and going over our predictions, some of which we nailed, some of which not so much. And I'll be giving my Ratchet and Clank impressions, answering the questions from the other fellas here. And we hope you pitch in on the comments and let us know what you want to know about that game, because it is great. I'm joined this evening by Mr. Adam Gumbert from Lexington, Kentucky.
Howdy, partner. How you doing?
Got Mr. Zach Cassell from Boston, Massachusetts, back from vacation. Welcome back, Zach.
Why, thank you. Good to be here.
And absent on the screen and on audio probably for a couple of minutes here, we got Mr. George Arevalo from Miami, Florida. And
What's up?
What up? What up?
There you go. Got him. And here we go. So E3 has come and gone. We got a lot of looks at a lot of different games across a lot of different platforms. I'm going to start off by scoring our predictions, and then we'll do general impressions and just talk about some of the highlights for each of us. So as a quick recap, starting with Adam, his predictions included Final Fantasy VII Integrate launching on Xbox this year. That's a big nope as far as E3. It very well could be, but as far as E3. He nailed Starfield being an Xbox exclusive and launching in 2022. So well done, Adam. He did say gameplay, but we're going to give him credit because I think the two of those things are warrant, in my book, a point. Street Fighter V, PC, PS5, and PS4 exclusive. No look at that. Battlefield 6 will look cool to Adam. Not only did it look cool to Adam, but it looked cool to all of us as well. So he is getting points for that. We did not see a Fire Access Marvel game. Did not see GTA 6, and there was no Baldur's Gate 3.1 trailer. So that is a total of 2 points for Mr. Adam. Not bad. Not bad at all. We all...
No, I can't. This is going to be horrible.
Yeah, it's funny looking back. It seemed I'm like 2 points. It's not great, but I'm thinking back at some of these predictions, and 2 points actually pretty good. So
yeah,
we like to go a little wild with these. It's fun to speculate and pie in the sky, right?
The weirdest one for me, we'll continue, but that there were no fighting games really announced.
There was that Tekken Smash Brothers crossover at the Nintendo event, but yeah, you're right.
A DLC character, but there was no Ed Boon thing. There was no Capcom fighting game. There was nothing.
Yeah, it was quiet. Yeah, that's true, except for Smash. But I feel like you can almost always count, unless it's just an exclusive Nintendo Direct for a specific game. Smash just seems to be in like all of them these days. So moving on to Zach. Speaking of Zach, Zach predicted we would see BioShock 4 and it would be a timed exclusive to Xbox. Nope. Gotham Knights beta. Nope.
Oh, man.
Fable full reveal. Nope. Rockstar new open world game. Nope. Gear 6. Nope.
Hey, these
Skull
are all
Bones. Nope.
These are all like great things that should have happened. You know what I'm saying? That's what we're all hoping for.
And the one prediction I do need to quickly look up is that Back 4 Blood would clean up in the like awards, like so for like E3 Game of Show. I know it didn't get IGNs. Let me quickly look at.
It's got to be on like their page or something, right? If they had it
On E3, you mean?
Yeah, there were official E3 rewards. That might be the place to look.
All right, I am taking a look here. Or actually, if somebody doesn't mind looking for me, in case I don't.
I'm on their web. I'm on Back 4 Blood's website.
Okay. Yeah, see what you could dig out. That might be somewhere we give it some credit. That's all right, man. Like we appreciate the. I would have been hyped for most of those announcements, so I take no solace in the. Probably like across the board fail there on predictions, Zach, because I would have loved to see some of this stuff. Moving on to George, we had ME4. I don't know why I said ME. It's because I have it abbreviated. Mass Effect 4, longer trailer, Shepard main character. Unfortunately, not. Switch Pro 2 out by fall. Definitely nothing doing there. More uninspiring Halo Infinite gameplay. Much to our delight, wrong there because
Yeah.
we all fucking loved the look at the multiplayer and the story trailer. Even though there was no gameplay, like I thought it was a nice little tone piece. Like it definitely I think made me more excited for the campaign than the stuff that I saw before. Um, you know, featuring Master Chief and kind of having that little personal moment, I think was a good touch. CD Project Red absent, nailed it there. I don't think if their name was uttered during that entire conference. So nice prediction there. Elder Scrolls trailer we did not get, nor did we get any update on the Lucasfilm games. And there was no PUBG 2. So a point for George. Nicely job. Moving on to mine. Microsoft acquisition of a Japanese studio. Nope. Hotline Miami 3. Nope. And with the added stinger of getting completely owned by Devolver Digital at their showcase, taking the absolute piss with the Hotline Miami 3 fan request box that they showed, and then they kicked it over or set it on fire or something like that. Was I was like, oh man, like not only did I not get the reveal, but they totally made fun of me. Avowed out this year, negative on that one. Some stuff that I did get correct. Elden Ring shown off. Beyond Good and Evil 2 not being at the show. And then Hades launching on Game Pass on Xbox. A couple of other misses. No Splinter Cell. No Jedi Fallen Order 2 tease. So also sad that we didn't
Not
get that.
yet. You could get that at EA Play in July.
I have
But-
no points. Let's just put it that way. All right. I've been looking. I'm seeing nothing.
If you
I
can't
couldn't
find
it either. I couldn't find it.
So okay, so
Forza Horizon 5 though won most overall anticipated, which blows my mind.
I mean, I've never played a Forza game, and I'm definitely gonna play that. Like,
It's the most excited I've been for a Forza game. It just looks so awesome.
I skipped right past that. I didn't even watch it.
the
It
racing
looks-
shit, I could
it
care less
looks
about.
So
the,
beautiful.
the goofy
I'm
shit.
not even worried about that. In no way, shape, or form am I going to spend 15 minutes or however long the end of that was watching them talk about a racing game.
Yeah, just watch the sizzle reel, like with the game modes that are fun, like the bowling pins and like some of the other shit looks really really cool. Also, like when they do like you think you're looking at a picture of like a valley in Mexico, and then they're just the cars zoom by. That was incredible. So by my reckoning, that is 3 points for me, 2 for Adam, 1 for George, and a big old goose egg for Zach. Hey, that was fun. Like it's always a bummer when all our hopes and dreams don't come true at E3, but there's always next year or the Game Awards. Like so,
I'm playing it so safe next year.
Despair not.
I mean, EA Play could have some of the things that we put in there. So
they could, yeah, they definitely could. That's true. Especially like the Fallen Order, the Mass Effect, like you are definitely very possible to be shown there. So cool. Moving on to just general impressions. What did you guys think of E3 this year? I have my thoughts and opinions.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
that came out of nowhere, huh?
I didn't expect it.
Well, we knew they were working on it, but like it had been so because I think all we got was like a logo reveal or something, right?
Yeah,
like
right
like
when
prior.
we got that Avengers logo, we got that logo too. That's like when we first heard about it, and then it went radio silent.
Yeah,
And
I thought that
totally
was
forgot about
vaporware.
it.
I thought it was vaporware. Like I didn't quite forget about it, but like I just assumed that game probably got canceled or like was having difficulties. And here it is.
Straight up single player though, like you build relationships with your whole crew and everything. Like that sounds awesome to me.
Looks funny, like genuinely, like they've got some humor like there. I listened to the music that on our live show was like music changed for licensing purposes, and they definitely are sourcing some pop songs and like rock songs and stuff. So that's cool. I Need a Hero is definitely the one that they've been using on all the adverts, which are already like all over.
Third
YouTube.
time that song's been heard this week.
I know it's like in a lot of stuff. I haven't watched. I know it was in Loki, right? I haven't watched
Yeah, it's
that,
in Loki.
and it's in something else too, right?
Yeah, there was another pop culture thing he was in.
Oh
yeah.
Loki has been.
Haven't watched it yet. Don't say anything. I'm waiting for a couple episodes to build up. Like I prefer to do. I did that for Falcon and Winter Soldier, and I'm so glad. Like it just worked better for me that way.
Also about Guardians. Guardians looks cool. Only good thing at that press conference. I'm sorry, I hated that Square press conference. There was some things that are all right, but it was really Guardians, and the rest of it, I could fucking never see that again, and I'll be fine.
Yeah, I agree.
I think every conference, like besides Microsoft and Nintendo. I mean, Microsoft, you guys can pitch way in here. First of all, I feel like they stole the show. I mean, and not that it was a high bar to clear this year by any means, but I feel like it was just trailer after trailer after trailer, couple quick little blurbs here and there, but like they just brought the heat like again this year with a lot of stuff. No matter where your interests lay, like there was something in that conference. I feel like if you're into video games, you probably had something to be excited about.
I agree. I was trying to like look back and see if it was just like me being biased that that's the one that we were covering, but it wasn't even close. It was by far the best showing. But they had to. Like they had to. They had all the pressure on them to put something together. They've kind of gotten, apart from the Halo stuff, they've kind of gotten a pass, because they've been working more on the service than delivering the games. And now they showed the good bit. I wouldn't say it was like a 10 out of 10. It wasn't perfect, but they definitely did a good job getting people hyped up. The best of which was their Halo presentation was awesome. To get people back on, back hype for that game, was huge for sure. They needed a big win after last year, and I think they definitely got that. So I would agree. It was the best one by far, not even close. I'd argue that the rest of E3 was kind of mediocre to not so great for the most part. Besides that,
I think Nintendo and Devolver are about neck and neck for me. Devolver for charm points for sure. Nintendo because they did have a couple of big announcements for me, like anyway, that I really liked. But
Devolver gets the nod for me just because of what Nintendo has to offer compared to Devolver. Like they should not be neck and neck. You know what I'm saying? So those two companies should not be neck and neck. So, and it was fine. I don't know that Nintendo just had any real surprises. I mean, I don't know. We were expecting a 2D Metroid game, but we were kind of expecting a Metroid game, so it kind of took a little bit of the surprise factor. But pretty cool. I think it's pretty cool.
I think the Metroid was
game looks
definitely the
dope.
best. That was the best thing at Nintendo for sure.
Yeah. The fact that it's kind of like sci-fi horror too, like I'm like that's exciting, to do. Like,
I mean, it's about time. They kind of have a habit of ignoring some of their biggest franchises at these events, But yeah, it was pretty cool to see that too.
So popping back to Microsoft for a bit, my entire timeline was filled with people that were so excited for Halo, just because they're like, well, even if this campaign just flops, like the multiplayer looks so good, like it dragged up so much nostalgia, I think, for everybody that like, especially in that Halo 2 era, like it just what it reminded me of. I was like, man, this is giving me Halo 2 vibes, like the big giant capture the flag maps, like it matches like some of the Team Slayer stuff that you could tell, like it looked like a fucking blast, and it looked great too. I mean, like graphically it looked great. Some of the like the mechanics and stuff they showed off on weapons and things like that, but I think they were smart to focus on that, like especially if they're not ready to show off like the campaign. You could argue it's a little bit of a safe move, but I think smart is probably the word I would go with, because we haven't seen the multiplayer in action, and like it's going to be free, 120 FPS. Like I think is all good news, for that game. And that game needed like a win, to kind of get it back into the conversation in a positive way.
100%. I'm super excited for that. And just off of the multiplayer alone, it was a safe move on their part, but it was smart. Like if they knock it out of the park with the multiplayer, you'll get people buying into the single player. You'll get people that'll jump on that. Especially since it looks like their approach to the single player is still very much like experimental, right? Like they're kind of jumping into uncharted waters with the way that they're going to approach this single player experience. So if you make the multiplayer awesome and give some incentive to play that, you'll get enough people, purchasing the game in full and jumping right on that. So I think it was a great showing. I would say like it was safe, but I felt like they showed us a lot in that multiplayer montage. I like the feel of the montage from like back in the day. You still had the simple like design, but it seemed like it had evolved, with some of the things that they could do, showing us some of the trick plays, launching a sword over to to your teammate kind of thing, all that.
Yeah.
That just looked awesome. It kind of gave us the personality and style that Halo is known for in this trailer. So all good things in that regard for sure. I think the Halo showing was a 10 out of 10. It was perfect. I don't think you could have put it together any better than that.
Yeah, it looked like fun. That's the thing. Like, I mean, fun is the word that comes to mind. Like when you when I think back to watching that gameplay, like you just that's so real. It's like, man, I would love to be playing this right now. Like.
Mm-hmm.
Did you guys see about how the battle passes will be set up too? Like they're never going to expire or anything.
If they last forever.
Yeah, so like if you
that's awesome.
bounce for a season and you want to like earn the whatever is offered on the battle pass, like you can retroactively buy the old ones. Can you have more than one going at the same time? That would be an interesting
I'm
thing to know.
sure about that.
Because if you could activate like 3 at once, that would be kind of cool to just like
It would be
earn shit.
Yeah, I think they said you could buy any of them at any time. So maybe you can just wait 3 seasons, buy all 3, and do it. I don't know. I'm not sure, but they did say you can go back after it's over and still buy it if you want.
Cool.
Now, do you think it's interesting that they didn't give the game a release date?
yes.
Do you hold any weight to that?
Yeah. That is part of what makes the overall presentation not so not as perfect as it could be. Like you gave a date for everything except
including
Even
Starfield.
man.
Yeah,
Starfield's a year later.
Except what's arguably the most important game to come out for your for your franchise, or not for your franchise, for your company, right? I think we can all agree Halo is the most important release game that they're going to have, or their next most important one, right? And arguably their first big one for the Xbox. So that is surprising and a little disappointing, and it does worry me for sure.
I still see a world where we get multiplayer before that single player comes out.
I mean, it's pretty much all but confirmed. I mean, they basically said you're gonna get the multiplayer and the first installment of the single player experience in holiday season.
Well,
So
I mean, but they've said that this is going to be like a multi-year like story that they're going to tell in chunks. But I mean, like
chunks.
I mean, like I could see there being no single player content this year, and them just saying like, hey, the multiplayer is ready to go. Like, here you go, knock yourselves out, play, have fun.
It wouldn't surprise me. I hope that they have something to go together, because anything less than that, like if they do give us, I mean, I'm fine with it. I personally don't care because I told I'm gonna play some multiplayer. I'll try out the single player, but I don't really care about that. For me personally, but I feel like if they do that, that is also making it clear once again that this game isn't ready. Like it's still not quite there, and they still had to sacrifice things. So it would just make me less confident in the multiplayer product. Hopefully that's not the case, but like, you're now pushing something out that wasn't what you intended to push out from the beginning, despite adding an extra year to this, So it would hurt some of the confidence that I'd have in the game, and it would make me kind of expect some issues with the multiplayer, at launch. I'd feel better and more confident about the game if it came out the way that it's intended to sometime this holiday season.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but don't they have like 2 different development teams, like one doing the single player, one doing the multiplayer? It's completely probable that, I mean, if that's the case, that this multiplayer was ready to go last year. I think all the issues that they have right now are on the campaign side of things.
I don't know because of the visuals that they showed us, that wouldn't have looked good in the single player or the multiplayer, but I don't know. And I don't know if they would release that. That would seem weird to me though, that their multiplayer is ready and the single player isn't, given that the single player is not even intended to be completed and it's still not done. I don't know which one is harder to make.
You got to think like, so multiplayer, like, you have much smaller maps, right? Like you have the weapons and the mechanics, all the physics and stuff that go into that like, is all just part of the single player. Like, I think it's completely, plausible again that like you have all the stuff that you need to put the multiplayer out, but like the things that they're struggling with the campaign could be everything from narrative issues to like them having these huge open spaces and trying to get that all like, performing well on the hardware, right? Like,
It's
um,
yeah, it's tough to speculate because we don't
Yeah.
really know exactly how they intend to pull off the single player. It seems like it's completely revamped and they're doing something rather unique for this type of game. So I don't know. I guess we'll find out. We'll know more. We'll know more when it comes out. But hopefully, it all comes out as intended. I hope that's the case.
Yeah. So we brought up Starfield. I think I'm not really sure how you guys. Yeah, I was gonna say I'm in the boat. It does look. It's not that I'm not excited for this game, but I felt like to have this at E3, like you put that trailer out on a random Wednesday and surprise people. That's one thing, but like to have that in E3, it's like
That was the first thing, right?
there's Easter eggs and stuff like that in it, and I think all that stuff's really really cool. But I think if you're gonna have this on the stage at E3, you needed to show gameplay, and give some more like indications on like the narrative, or not have showed it yet.
I think it was more about the exclusivity thing. They wanted to be like, and here's fucking Starfield, and it's going to be only on Xbox. And that's why I think
That went over well from what I've seen. We've been talking about it in our Discord. Like,
yeah, we can talk about that here too. I thought it was so. The reason why I'm down on it is because an E3 showing shouldn't. It had no impact on me. It did absolutely nothing for me aside of maybe like the release date. But cool. But like, does anyone take release dates these days seriously? Anyways, it doesn't. It does nothing for me. So my thoughts on the game are unchanged, and sometimes that could be a good thing, right? Like I'm still excited about this game, but in this case, not so much of a good thing. Like it did absolutely nothing for me, so that's why I'm disappointed. I wouldn't go as far personally to say that it needed gameplay, but just make that longer. You add another 30 seconds, 45 seconds to those visuals and those videos and cutscenes to show me a little bit more about what it looks like, what the exploration looks like, what space looks like. Damn, he just didn't show me shit, So it doesn't do a whole lot for me, and I was kind of disappointed at that. And it being the way that they opened it, like that's your opening, sequence. I thought it was a little disappointing.
I thought the Outer Worlds 2 trailer was better than the Starfield trailer because
because of how they presented it.
Yeah, like they basically made fun of the thing that we saw earlier in the show, which is like, here's a bunch of stuff that has really like no relevance or meaning to you, and here's the title, and like granted, Starfield is much farther along than the Outer Worlds 2, but yeah, it didn't move the needle for me one way or the other. It was the release date again, cool, but I think that you could have put this out like on a weekday and surprised people and gotten people way more excited about it than at E3. I think there's certain expectations that come with a game being presented at E3, and I just don't think that they stuck the landing, unfortunately.
It could have shown us a little bit more. They have to have more stuff.
I think that's almost so. I agree that I think Microsoft had the best overall conference, right? Like, but man, so many of those was just CG trailers, man. I want gameplay, and like the vast majority of the trailers that they showed had zero gameplay in it, and that's super disappointing. And I feel that's what I think is missing in the form of Sony, because when Sony used to come to E3, when they would present their games, it was like a 10-minute chunk of gameplay and everything, and that's what got you excited for it. Like that Contraband game, like I'm sure is going to be really cool, but like a co-op open world, whatever, from Avalanche. But like you're saying about Starfield and everything, man, it didn't even move the needle for me because I know zero about it. So like the Redfall, like at least like it kind of gave you an idea of the world and everything like that.
You have a really good idea of what that game is gonna be like from how they did the CG trailer on that. But yeah,
see, and that's a lot better. And I wish. I don't want to say I wish more trailers were like that, because I wish if they're gonna present them at E3, just give us gameplay. Yeah. But I mean, it's not bad to have a CG trailer or two, but as far they were like, there's 37 games or whatever, and at least 30 of them had no gameplay.
Which I'm with you to an extent, but I feel like they showed gameplay footage for the games that are coming out this year. If there's another E3, in between now and your release date, I'm okay with the cinematics and the just the visuals and kind of letting us know this game is on its way. If there's another E3 or some other type of showing where you'd put it out, you know, and I'm okay with that for Starfield and Redfall and all these games. Redfall is a great comparison, right? Like I am so much more satisfied getting what I got out of Redfall than Starfield, and I'm honestly much more excited about that game than I am Starfield. A game that we didn't even know existed right before this, and
And they
Starfield,
closed the show with it too, right? So like
yeah,
that's
and the fact that Starfield has been in the works for some time, we've known about it for some time, and this is what we get. It's just like it just seemed a little half-assed. Like we know you guys are already hyped for this game, so just gonna give you a little tease, you know. But Redfall did such an awesome job. It looked like it stole the show in many cases. Granted, there's no gameplay footage, but we're gonna get it at some point. So yeah, like
But you know what that game is gonna like. You have a good sense of that world, the characters. Like I feel like that Redfall trailer for a
it's
first
infinitely
look,
better. It's
like
way better.
you have a great sense of what that game is gonna be. You don't know all of it, and you know there's still a lot of questions, but like that's a great first look at it, like a
The-
game via a CGI
The
trailer.
Starfield thing was barely a step above the Contraband thing, like barely a step above. You know, that's basically what it was. You know, you didn't show us anything. You know, but it is what it is. Overall, they still had a good showing.
There are a couple of other things I want to talk about before we move out of Microsoft. One is the Sea of Thieves, Jack Sparrow / Pirates of the Caribbean expansion, which I think is going to prompt at least a couple of us on here to re-download Sea of Thieves, like to get in there. So mission accomplished there. I don't know if it's something I'll stick with, obviously long term, but fuck yeah, like I'll hop in and play the that little campaign or story and goof off for a few nights. Like that was really cool.
I'm surprised it took this long for them to get like Pirates of the Caribbean themed stuff into the game, right? Because yeah, soon as I heard Calypso's voice, I was like, oh man, dude, no way. And then yeah, man, they say you gotta rescue one man. As soon as you see him dangling the keys, you're like, oh yeah. And I'm like you, man, I'm excited. I already got it downloaded. I'm ready to get back into that. I want to play that. It's supposed to be like a pretty substantial story piece, I heard.
ECG live, like in Sea of Thieves, you know.
Can you play that in like? Can you play that story through like in like co-op, like with people? I know it's a
Yeah.
multiplayer game. Oh man, let's fucking do it. Let's just get a bunch of 4 guys who haven't played a lick of Sea of Thieves just out here being Pirates of the Caribbean. Let's do it, man.
I'm ready
I'm excited
ready to
for
do
that.
some swashbuckling, getting some little adventures. Hopefully there's Pirates of the Caribbean music. If there's not, I'm definitely
Have
going
to
to put that soundtrack on, you know.
I'm sure it's gonna be great.
The other thing I wanted to talk about was Replaced, which is my favorite showing of the night because that's just my utter aesthetic, like for video games. That's the 2.5D kind of Blade Runner looking action platformer, as I guess what I would classify it based on what we saw. I thought that game looked gorgeous. It had a really compelling art style, and it just looks like a Chris ass game.
That's the one that showed you kind of walking behind things, in front of things. It showed a little bit. Yeah, that was pretty neat.
Lot of depth, you know, to it, and it looks like it's a kind of a gritty like future noir story. Absolutely. Anybody else here eager to check that out, George? I know you're a little bougie, as you say, about your games. Is that something that you would play?
Yeah, is that going to be on Game Pass?
I think so.
I'll play it. Yeah, it looked cool. It definitely looked cool. Yeah, I'm not real big on those kind of games, but that one definitely looked like it piqued my interest for sure. Granted, you know, when I'm watching something like this, like E3, I'm hyped for a lot of things, but but yeah, it looked like something that I would play, very subject to what's going out at the time, you know, what else do I have going on kind of thing. But it looked really neat for that kind of game. There's not a whole lot of games that move the needle for me. But that style, I was really digging it.
How, Adam, you're excited for that too, right? Place look cool to you?
Yeah, that looks good. The minute I saw that, I'm like, yep, like that art style. Let's go.
And just,
Also,
oh, go ahead.
Somerville also looks good to me. Since we're talking about like indie games that'll be on Game Pass.
Yeah, one half of the Play Dead team, right? People that made Inside and Limbo, which are two phenomenal indie games. I would call those more like horror, like puzzle platformers, and it definitely had that post-apocalyptic Last of Us like vibe, but like with like a family unit, not just like a man and a young girl. So that looks very interesting. Agree.
Man, I will say this though, man. This next year and a half of Game Pass, what a time! What a time to be alive, man. Game Pass is gonna be looking so sweet over the
Stacked.
next. Yeah, like this is all this stuff that was. I think everything that they showed was coming to Game Pass except for Battlefield.
I think just a Battlefield, yeah. Everything else was.
And which will eventually be on
like 6 months
Game
later.
Pass,
Yeah.
EA Play. But did we talk about Battlefield? That shit looked awesome.
We can, yeah. I mean, I'm not a Battlefield guy, but I was tempted, like especially like usually around Black Friday, these things go to half price, like that game, like traditionally has. That's why I own Battlefield 1, and there's another battle I picked up at half price or like as a bundle where it was like 2 for 60 with something else. Like, yeah, that level, what's
That
it called?
looked insane.
Levolution.
I don't even know.
It's what it used to be called. I don't know what it's called now, but
That was insane, man. That I'm not a Battlefield guy myself. I played here and there, but in terms of competing franchises, Call of Duty would be something that I would play more, or traditionally play more. But damn, this looked insane. So it's like 128 up to 128 players. The map interacts. You can flood things, blow up things. There's weather effects. It just looks like fucking madness. And I'm here for it. I feel like all it takes is a handful of us to be picking it up for Chris to pony up and play it. But I think I might jump in on that day one. It just looks crazy.
I'll be there with you, man.
Let's fucking go. It just looks fucking crazy. Like you're just gonna go in there and just be like, oh shit. Like it literally seemed like you were in the middle of a war zone. And I absolutely love games that bring the battle like that to like a city, but like a town. It looks like you're just in the middle of, I don't know what that area looked like. It almost looked like Dubai or something like that, but it just seemed like an all-out war was going out in the town. And it looked like the map was just huge, like massive.
Props to them for sticking with their vision of like doing their own thing, right? Like not trying to directly compete with Call of Duty, like having like scale, like that sense of scale and vehicles and shit like that. I mean,
I started watching some of their commercials too, like their trailers, kind of hyping it up. And what I think is going to go well for them is I think they're embracing the ridiculous nature of these battlefields. There's a particular trailer that's really worth watching, especially if you're into some of those. It has a lot of celebrities and rappers and singers in it, all of them playing Battlefield and doing all these kind of crazy things in it as well. So I think they're kind of embracing that and just like you said, scale, everything going big, crazy, in your face, and just everybody can play. And I think they're really, really embracing that mindset. And I think it's going to make for a really fun game. Is it going to be a competitive game, balanced, fair? No. But it's going to be fun. Absolutely. And that's all I care about.
Yeah, it seems like the kind of game that like there'd be minimal like saltiness or tilt when I'm playing it, just because it's like it's so fucking chaotic. Like, what are you gonna do? Like, I can see myself getting into a helicopter and be like, how do I drive this shit? Like making one pass around and then just crashing into something because I get distracted and just being like, well,
that's what I do.
The trailer literally showed someone piloting a fighter jet, ejecting from the fighter jet, pulling out an RPG, shooting another fighter jet with their RPG, and then landing back in their own fighter plane.
That's a call to players, man. Players started doing that in the game, so they put it in their trailer.
Exactly.
Man. That's awesome.
So I mean, when you add that into your trailer, like you just don't give a fuck anymore. And I'm here for it. So, sorry, Zach, you were gonna say something earlier.
No, you're cool. I was pretty much just going to echo everything you're saying, right? Like it just looks like a huge chaotic mess of like fun. And one cool thing about it that I will point out that I thought was cool that maybe more shooters will maybe adapt is how he was able to customize his gun on the go pretty much. He got on that elevator and changed up all the attachments on the gun. So I thought that's pretty cool. I'm going to find myself dying a lot while I'm doing that, but that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And I'm just excited for the destruction, right? That's always been Battlefield's main thing. Like I'm hoping almost everything, if not everything, will be able to be like blown up. So maybe like by the end of the game, the map is literal rubble, right? Like I think that'd be awesome if they
Yeah.
can manage to pull that off.
It reminds me a lot of like, I don't know how much you guys played the most recent Battlefront, but like not a game that I played a ton of, but right now if I go and download it or install it, I could play a couple hours and have fun just on the big scale, big fights. And this just seems to take that kind of style to the like on steroids, you know? The Battlefront is nowhere near as big. So that's kind of what I'm thinking this game is going to be, that it's not something I'm going to play every day like hardcore, but I can go in, just hop in and just shoot around, just have some fun. And with some friends, like, I mean, it's crazy. It'd be like 4 or 5 of us, but we don't even make up 10% of the player pool in that match. So that's
Literally.
insane.
Do you think that the new Battlefield multiplayer or Halo will affect Warzone at all?
No, I don't know that it's going to affect Warzone because I feel like Warzone is carved out. Like none of these are battle royales that I know of, and Warzone I think has that down, and its own gameplay loop is really good. It's not for everyone, but I think they've got a good formula, and as long as they continue to update their content and add these things to it, I think they'll be fine. However, so there was a little rumor that Activision could Modern Warfare 2 remaster or something like that, have them do something crazy like that to try to compete with what they're seeing with Battlefield and Halo. It's gonna be a good few months for first person shooters, I think.
For sure.
Anybody want to talk about anything at the Ubisoft conference? I didn't see anything that was.
The Avatar game. I was obsessed with Avatar when it came out.
Forgot about Avatar.
Like,
yeah.
I love that movie. I don't care what anybody says. I don't care about the comparisons they make to Pocahontas. Nothing. I don't care. I enjoy the movie. I thought it was really good. And I'm so excited for the game, right? And the fact that I know a lot of people are saying like the Avatar hype has died, right? Like,
he's making 4 more movies. Like maybe
exactly,
it has
that's
for
what
now,
I'm saying.
but like that's going to be right back into the cultural zeitgeist.
Exactly. And I feel almost like because it's been so long, like it's like, especially if the game is good. If the game comes out and it's good, it's going to put Avatar back in the light. And then, yeah, you're right. The new movies, I think, come out next year or the year after. So they're not super far off. So I just hope it's not Far Cry Avatar.
Yeah,
that's what I don't.
That's
want.
my word. Or Assassin's Creed, like Avatar.
Yeah,
like,
it's first person. So.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't. But I get what you're saying though, right? Like I just don't want a copy of one of their established games and put it in a different skin. I want that game to stand out and be awesome. And it doesn't have to be a 10, but give me a solid 8, 9 game, right? Like
I wonder how involved James Cameron is like with the game, because I mean I think arguably the best part about Avatar the movie is the universe and world building, right? Like I mean that's what people gravitated towards. Like Pandora was cool, and then like all the technology and stuff. The movie was cool. Like the story was, it's fine, but the universe was cool. Yeah. Like the universe was what was really really neat about that. So yeah, I'll be interested to see. Like you got to imagine he was like pretty involved, right? Like he wouldn't want like a licensed game coming out that like I don't know, like negates a bunch of shit that he's about to show off in all these movies. So hopefully it ties in well.
He seems to be the type of guy who's well, especially with Avatar, he's like every time I see him talk about it, he's so passionate about it and so invested in it. And yeah, you're right. I couldn't imagine them just being like, we're gonna do our own story and you can do your movies.
Yeah, he wants to make another few $billion off of those the sequels.
Yeah, it's number 1 again. So I don't think any movie will reach the heights of the first one, but that was like when 3D was like first making its boom, and like the movie was so colorful that it
depends on what he does, man. He's traditionally been able to make magic. Like he doesn't make a lot of movies, like but
Titanic and Avatar,
like when I mean, before that, Terminator 2,
yeah.
I mean, even True Lies, which is like largely like fun.
Dude,
like,
I forgot he made True Lies.
Like one of the best like action comedies like ever. Like that movie's just a blast, like start to finish. And it has some nut. You want to talk about nut scenes? Like there's some nutty shit that happens in that movie that's like really really fun. But
As long
There's
as we get Arnold as a Navi, I'll be cool.
there is one reason that I'm excited for that game, or that the reason I have high hopes for it. I mean, traditionally movie license games are what they are, right? But for me, like I never like I liked the movie Avatar. I mean, I didn't love it. I liked it. I never at no point have I ever been like, oh man, I really wish I could play an Avatar game. But when I saw that Disney allowed Ubisoft to make the Star Wars games after their meeting about the Avatar game, that's when I'm like, they've got something good here. Because if there's one thing, it's man, that mouse cares about its fucking games and the way that any of its stuff is depicted. You saw how much when they put some pressure on EA, and then you've got some of the Star Wars games that have come out since, right? Squadrons, Fallen Order, all that kind of stuff. So the fact that Disney greenlit these Star Wars games for Ubisoft after their work on Avatar makes me think that this is going to be a quality title. I don't know what to expect, and nothing I've seen so far makes me sways me one way or the other. But I think they are putting it. They're going to put in some good work, and they're going to give you something that is a quality game, at the very least a 7. Honestly, if you get a 7 from a movie license game, that's kind of a big deal, you know.
I think it'll be higher than that. Personally.
I mean, I hope so. I hope so. But I mean, traditionally, movie license games are like 2, 3, 4s. You know, like some of like the Fast and the Furious game, and
Yeah.
there's some fucking winners out there for sure. But yeah, I think it's gonna be cool, and they'll find a way to make it good, and I'm sure they'll tie them into the movies and whatnot. So
I'm excited too because Ubisoft has shown over the past whatever 5 or 6 years that man, they almost better than anybody on in the console market anyways, like support their games better than most developers. Like almost all the games like Rainbow Six, which also Extraction looked fucking awesome, I think. Rainbow Six Siege still like booming to this day. I would say the only ones they don't really I think support like far out are Far Cry. But Assassin's Creed, Rainbow Six, For
For Honor.
Honor, The
Yep.
Division.
they do, and what
they only get better with time, right? Like For
Yeah,
Honor
that's what I was gonna
launched
say.
and it was like pretty bare, and like now that game is so jambone with stuff. The Division 2, full of stuff to do now, right? Like it's Ghost Recon still getting updates to this day. Like that's what has me excited too, because they're super passionate about getting their games out and making sure that their audience plays them for a long time.
That's a good thing. It's also what worries me, because sometimes they put out games that still need a lot of support. Sometimes they put out some misses with the Wildlands, Badlands, whatever one of the Ghost Recon
I think
games.
both of those have kind of been
Yeah, have
personally
not been so good. The last Watch Dogs was very mixed. It had a lot of issues. They do support it, and they some of those games do end up making turnarounds, right? Division 1 and 2 didn't have the best receptions come launch, but they kind of made a turnaround. But what they do well is what they do well is I think their narratives are good, man. Like the single player experience that they give you in most of the games is quite good, and I think like they're gonna deliver on that with Avatar and Star Wars, man. You give me the end game was whatever, but if you give me an experience like the Division 1 and 2 up until the end game, and you make that Star Wars or Avatar, it could be a cool game, man.
hell yeah.
Last thing at Ubi, I don't care, but a lot of my friends really like Riders Republic, so I hope they enjoy that.
yeah, I mean, another game that looked like fun. Like if you're into that kind of thing, it kind of reminded me of like old school like 1080 snowboarding, or like
Some
California
SSX.
games back in the day.
SSX
Like
tricky.
yeah,
Yo, no EA Sports big, man. Come on, man. Where is that?
God, EA Sports.
Need it. We need it.
I want to give one other quick shout out for E3. Although I didn't watch the conference live, PC Gaming Show, our friends at Ratloop Games. Lemnis Gate, the
Yo,
first
it looks
developer
real
we ever
good.
interviewed on this podcast. Really got the all the kind of credit they deserve for that game. You look at PCgamer.com, The Verge, like they had a lot of stories about that game, which is coming out August 3rd. So well done to the team at Ratloop Games. I know they've been working on that a while. It sounded cool a couple of years ago when we interviewed them, and I can't wait to finally get my hands on it because that looks really fun. For our listeners that maybe haven't heard that episode, you should go back and listen to it. We had I think it was a game director on, actually, right? Like that was
Yes.
and
His
yeah,
name is slipping my mind at the moment.
mine as well. I will have to pull it up while I'm talking, but it is a time loop based shooter where you take turns, and whatever you do on that turn with the character is like locked into that time loop forever, and you go back and forth and try to take an objective, and it just sounds and looks very, very cool, and I'm super happy that they are finally getting that game out because man,
$15 on Steam pre-order, comes out August.
It's only $15.
Yep, it's $20 game.
Oh, that is huge, man. I'm telling you, just from what I played at PAX that year was awesome. And like after watching the trailer and how far it's come along, I can't wait to play it again.
James is from the name
Yes.
of the gentleman from Ratloop Games. So very, very exciting. So yeah, wanted to give a little shout out because I saw all the articles and I was like, I remember talking.
I saw
about
that
this
on the Game Pass little thing. It's like Lemnis Gate coming to Game Pass. I'm like,
Oh, really?
I think so.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, I think
Oh, that I didn't know if it was coming to Game Pass. I saw it was like it's like $15 right now on Steam. There's a pre-order deal on it. Supposed to be cross-play, I think, if I'm not mistaken. So
Yep, it's coming to Game Pass.
Very cool. I mean, that'll be an awesome Game Pass game. I could see that game being like another like Fall Guys or Among Us, where like people having access to it, Knockout City becomes really, really popular very quickly.
very stream friendly for sure.
Yes. I'm gonna melt my brain a little bit. Like I'm not a naturally like lateral thinker. Like that's not just like accuracy and all that kind of stuff. Like there's a lot of strategy. It's kind of like chess with shooting. So it'll be cool to finally check it out. All right, let's
Well, I guess before we move real quick, we didn't talk much about it, but how do you feel about Nintendo overall? And we just talked about
gosh, man, thank you for catching that, Adam. Yeah, like so the Metroid game, Metroid Dread, looked very, very cool. Like that was for me like probably like my favorite game that we got to look at. And yeah, Breath of the Wild sequel looks neat. Like I'm excited to play it. Don't know much about it. I have heard rumors that it is like the earliest set Zelda game, and that you are going to play as Ganon. So Ganon wasn't always evil, and that it's going to be like an origin story of sorts, based on like the Zelda lore and people kind of picking apart the trailer. If that's the case, like cool. Like yeah, I mean that'll be neat, and apparently it'll be set in 2 time periods and all this stuff. Who knows what it'll actually end up being, but neat that we got to look. No release date, right, for that? Like no window or anything?
2022.
Or did they say 2022? Okay.
I think so.
Yeah, I think you're right, actually.
Yeah, it did say 2022.
Other than that, it's the kind of shit that like I'm excited for people that love WarioWare and Smash Brothers and all that other stuff, but like none of that's for me. That's my take on it, so I'll let you guys.
Damn, but there is a game we forgot to talk about. I'll bring it up after we finish talking about Nintendo,
Okay.
though.
Fair enough.
Yeah,
sorry,
I'm like,
go ahead.
oh yeah, my bad. I'm like Chris, where I'm not a real big Nintendo fan. There were some remasters like Advance Wars. That'll be cool for people who care. It's not me. But yeah, Dread is probably my favorite thing from there. So I think it was good for if you're a Nintendo fan. Again, I think it's the second best conference. It's just not, none of that was for me. I don't care about remasters of 20-year-old strategy games, but a lot of people are excited. So good for them. I think it was a good conference, just not things I care about.
Yeah.
For
I thought it
40
was
minutes,
fine.
They had a lot
Yeah.
of stuff. Yeah, they always do their own thing.
Yeah, they'll have their own thing at some point. One of the things I didn't get to throw out in my prediction, it wouldn't matter anyway. It's like I wish we got something more. I don't know, whatever's next for Fire Emblem. That's arguably one of my most played video games ever now, and
That would have been nice.
yeah, I would love to get some sort of sequel or follow up or next installment to something. Give me another Three Houses or another story for that. Um, seems like support for that game has kind of dropped off, but man, what a great game, isn't it? What a great
Yeah.
fucking game.
You know what would be really cool is hearing about Bayonetta 3 or Metroid 4, but I'm gonna leave that alone.
Yeah. I think like granted like it's Mario theme, but it may scratch that itch. The Mario Rabbids game, like if like that kind of tactical
Do
grid
like
based thing.
XCOM, yeah.
And it's not exactly like Fire Emblem, like in terms of like the structure or anything like that. But for if you like the combat, like in Fire Emblem, like the Mario Rabbids game is gonna have that.
Yeah,
going for 'em.
it's
I know.
Mario and the characters, man. It's just I don't know what it is about that, but
That's fine. Yeah. I like look. I mean, at least did you play Fire Emblem, Adam? Right, you did.
Yeah, that was one of my favorite Switch games. One of the only ones I liked.
Was it the first one you've ever played
Uh,
for Fire Emblem? I mean,
oh,
I
it's
think
the
so.
first Fire Emblem.
I think so. Yeah, I didn't play the 3DS one. I didn't have 3DS. I played it on 3DS, but I didn't beat 3DS. This is the first one I beat.
I
Was
heard
it-
that one was nothing like the other Fire Emblem games, though. They're not quite like this.
um, yeah, no, I mean that's they definitely like the social elements and stuff like that are different. The story I know has always been like kind of like on the heavy side, like where it's like big like scale and kind of
Yeah.
shadow stuff. Zach, did you play Fire Emblem or no?
Yeah, but man, same with like Persona. I tried getting into like game. I don't know, something about those styles of games. I just can't.
Get them out of here.
Here's the point out. What I'll point out though, my point: 4 people, like 100% of the people on this podcast today, that was the first time that first Fire Emblem game, I should say, that we played. Like, even though it only connected with 3 out of the 4 of us, like they've converted, 75% of our podcast to like Fire Emblem people, where I didn't know anything or care about that series before. So, I think when they do make the next, Fire Emblem announcement, it's cool. Like that we're probably not alone in that, right? Like I think there's a
for
lot of people
sure.
out there that like
So
connected.
good, man. And
Yeah.
and I can't stress enough how much you guys should absolutely play the DLC, the Cindered Shadows. It has the best fights in that game are in that DLC in terms of strategy, tactics. Um, highly recommend that you guys. It is worth every penny. Highly recommend you guys go and play that. It's a separate thing, so you don't have to like. It's not quite as long, but it's so good, man.
I was
it's so
thinking
good.
like maybe like at some point over the summer, or certainly the next time we travel, or we're talking about doing like a fall trip, I might like start a playthrough, figure out which house I want to do, and then maybe do the DLC in conjunction. Would be kind of cool.
Yeah, for sure. We forgot to talk about one game that I thought was super impressive, and that's Stalker 2, man.
Oh yeah,
Dude, Stalker 2 looked fucking phenomenal, man. And that is a game that showed plenty of gameplay. It showed you everything. I thought that was probably the best showing or trailer, like whatever presentation from a game, because it did exactly what it was supposed to do. It gave me a game that I had never heard of, had no idea what it was about, and probably would have ignored it otherwise. And actually made me like, damn, this thing looks freaking cool. It looks creepy, scary.
Graphically,
The
too, like,
graphically looks beautiful. It's at 4K ray tracing, not having to sacrifice anything. That was a perfectly put together presentation that got me kind of hyped for that game, and Game Pass, like that is a perfect Game Pass game, and it looks awesome, and it looks like it has a lot of personality, but it didn't give too much away. That's what we talked about in like our post show. It didn't give away the whole story. It left enough intrigue for me to wonder what is going on there. It looked awesome, and I think that's definitely a game worth checking out.
Yeah, I'm very excited for that. Like post-apocalyptic, like sci-fi. It's based on a film that when we were watching the show, I said like I'm embarrassed I've never seen this, but I know it's like a legendary like Russian sci-fi film from the '70s. Same guy that made Solaris. So yeah, definitely one that'll be kind of a no-brainer. April of next year when it comes out on Game Pass, download it, play it, give it a shot. Like even if it's something that again doesn't connect, it's like all right, well I'm out. Some disk space temporarily, and whatever time I put into it. But I don't think that'll be the case. This game looks really really cool. So nice. All right. So for the last few minutes of the podcast, I wanted to talk Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, which I have rolled credits on. I have 3 more trophies to do. I have to start a second playthrough to finish them, but I don't have to like beat the game again. Probably take me an hour, maybe 2 to get the trophy cleanup. Boy, like it is the most solid like 9 game I've ever played. Like it doesn't get the 10, doesn't get the masterpiece because I don't think it evolves the mascot platformer action genre like in any way. But it is gorgeous, it's colorful, it's got all kinds of charm, and it's just a blast to play. Like, I mean, front to back. Zero fat on the game. Like, even though there's like some light collectibles, like there's like, I don't know, 6 or so collectibles like per area, and they're very like, I won't say easy to find, but they're fairly easy. Like you don't have to like, break
Like
your
like the God of War ones, that they weren't too bad.
yeah, like if you're any kind of good at exploring, like you'll pick them up naturally through the gameplay. Like you might miss 1 or 2 here and there, but they make it very easy to like
Go back.
teleport around and scoop them up. You even get a map at the end of the game. Like if you miss anything, you can just go to a planet and get them. So I love that. The weapon variety is nuts. There's 18 different guns that you can acquire throughout the game, and they are all incredibly unique and fun to use. And the way that they use like they have a progression system in place encourages you to constantly like level up the guns and try them out and kind of use them in interesting combinations during the combat. The rift mechanic I think is a little disappointing. Like it's not nearly as groundbreaking as I think everyone was hoping, but it's such a nitpicky complaint compared to like how well everything else is done in the game. I mean, it's a perfect length of a game. The platforming sections are super fun. The rail sections are great. I just like I said, it's just such a solid 9. Where it's like almost masterpiece, but just not quite. But it is so comfortably in that like 9 out of 10. And I can't recommend it highly enough if you have a PS5 because I think maybe even better looking than Returnal in terms of graphics, like the 60 FPS ray tracing, especially with like the art style and stuff, just really pops. And of course, like every first party game, it seems like they make really good use of the haptic, triggers and what are they called? The adaptive triggers, and of course, like all the 3D rumble stuff. But man, yeah, I love that. Like even if you didn't play the first game, like that's a question a couple of people have asked me, like you can pick this up in like time. Like there's a couple little things that like you'll chuckle about, like if you're familiar at all with like Ratchet and Clank, but you could jump right into this and understand what's going on and be as invested in the story and the characters. So fire away your questions if you guys have any questions. I'll happily field anything about Ratchet and Clank.
Yeah, it's a tough one for me, man. Like I've heard nothing but good things, man. The game did look beautiful. I said as much when we were digesting the PlayStation stuff or whatever it was that we saw it
State
in
of
last
Play.
year. Yeah, State of Play. It looked really cool. It's hard for me to get into those games, man. Like I would have to have close to nothing else to play to hop into it. I might not regret it, but it's hard to like kind of incentivize me to play it just because I'm just not, there's not a whole lot of games where I can play with those kind of character models, so it is purely a preference thing. I may play it at some point, but I prefer to play games that have, like more realistic style, that kind of thing. But it looks awesome, man.
It's worth giving a try just because it's Insomniac. Like they know how to make a game like where movement feels like really, really like good and fluid. And I can't emphasize this enough. The progression in that game, like you're constantly getting like new powers, new guns, like
Yeah.
so like there's not a stale moment or stretch in that game. Like it's not there's never a point in that game where I was like, this is overstaying its welcome. Like I'm bored, right? And
I think of it like I haven't played a Mario game since N64 for the same reason. It's
Really?
just like, yeah, like all those little 3D Mario games that have come after, they're just like I know they're good games. I will never doubt that. I know they're good games. It's just like they they're just not satisfying for me because of the way it looks. It is bougie. It goes back to the same shit with
Yeah.
the old platformers. When you got a game like Returnal or Mass Effect, that's what the game looks like. That's the shit that I want to play.
Sure.
So I may play it at some point because I feel like I'm selling myself short by not playing some of those games.
Especially you have it for free because we game share.
Yeah. So at some point, but then again, I've spent time playing realistic looking games like fucking Marvel's Avengers. And there's that. So
great game for I can't remember if Natalia is comfortable with like the twin stick thing, but like it's a playable Pixar movie. Like it's like you take some of the best Pixar movies and it legit is that, like in terms of like really charming characters, like it looks gorgeous, and it just embraces like what it is, you know what I mean? Like the villains are like villains, but they're not like evil, serious, like super piece of shit villains. I don't know, like
I've tried so hard to get my wife to play video games to the point that I think I've burned her out on the thought of playing them. But we haven't played a video game together since Little Big Planet, like one or something. And then I remember the other day, not the other day, but a while ago, she had mentioned she loved playing Crash Bandicoot as a kid. So what did I do? I got Crash Bandicoot. There was like a
insane collection.
On Switch, and then I gave it to her, and she bobbied me and still has it in the wrapper. She hasn't played, and it's been like over a year, and she loved the gift, or so she said. But I've been wanting to play, getting her to play It Takes Two. I want to play. But
that's just so much fun. I gotta finish that with my brother.
But yeah, she was not having it. So I don't know if you guys have any Ratchet and Clank questions, but
I do. Man. Yeah, I have something, but I'm gonna let Zach go first because my thing is kind of like a wrap up question around Ratchet and Clank. But Zach, I'll let you go first if you got something.
Yeah, so I downloaded the 2016 Ratchet and Clank the other day, and I started playing it, and I immediately realized that I'm never gonna play a Rift Apart because I do not enjoy playing those games.
Yeah. You see, he's like Zach's like me. I can't.
That's fine. I thought 2016 was excellent. Like I enjoyed it. It takes me back to a certain era. Like I do like the new like Mario games and stuff. I think the time commitment to like so many games are massive. Like it's just such a breath of fresh air. Like to step away for a little over a week and just play something like casually for like a couple hours here and there, and just like it's done. Like not only is it done, but like I've almost completed everything I could do in the game, and like
should have streamed it, man. I always like I love the fact that like Chris's palette for video games, like Chris will play anything. 2D, 3D, 4D. I mean, like Chris will try any, like, I don't know. You just have such a wide, diverse palette for the different type of games that you play. You don't fit into a niche at all. Like you'll play some shooters. You're not big on them, but then you'll play like absolutely brutal, like sadistic games like Dark Souls and enjoy it, like I don't, and then you'll play Ratchet and Clank, like, so that would have been something that I would have definitely watched you play it on stream, without worrying about spoilers,
when I do like the trophy cleanup, I probably won't stream tonight. I've been enjoying just having kind of a break, like as I'm transitioning to new job at work and stuff like that. But next week I'm definitely going to get back to it. Like, so maybe when I do some trophy cleanup, like I'll play through, because I'll have to do at least like a couple level, like probably 2 or 3 levels, like based on what I can see, like I have left to do. So you'll get an opportunity to see it there, if nothing else.
Yeah, I haven't either, man. It's Mass Effect. Mass Effect's been eating my life.
Yeah, I barely started 3. Like I did like the first few opening missions, and like I'm gonna get back to that after.
It's not healthy. Like I have literally. That's probably why I was just taking a nap, because I'm up till like 1 a.m. every day playing Mass Effect. Bundling the 3 games together like that is just not healthy for people like me. I think I'm almost done, man. But man, I think that sorry, I'm going off on a tangent.
I mean, we could let's talk about what
wrap up. Yeah, wrap up what we've been playing.
And I'll get to Adam's
Adam
question.
had something. Yeah, Adam had something about Ratchet and Clank. Then we can.
Yeah. All right. So I'm looking at a PS5 exclusive list for the rest of the year. Because, Chris, you said Ratchet and Clank's a 9. You guys seem to like Returnal. So thinking ahead to our Game of the Year discussion, I'm looking at these PS5 games. And basically, they're all out of the way, right? Final Fantasy VII Remake, whatever. I'm just looking at this. So basically, what we have left for PlayStation is Horizon Forbidden West.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe. This is
hard,
maybe.
Hard maybe.
Hard maybe. Deathloop, Ghostwire Tokyo.
Mm-hmm.
Ghostwire, I think, is a maybe. Deathloop for sure. And then Kena, Bridge of Spirits, which looks interesting, and then Solar Ash are the other ones. So with that list of what might come out the rest of the year, and on what you've already played for our game of the year, do you expect Returnal and Ratchet to be on your list? Not. What do you just kind of? We have no idea. There's other games. There's Xbox, PC, Switch, multi. There's a lot of stuff, but based on that list of exclusive PS5 games, do you expect these guys to be on your short list? Anything like that?
So I think our next episode, I want to do like a check in for like stuff so far. But I will say, like off the top of my head, like It Takes Two, Ratchet and Clank, Returnal, all currently there now. I could see. I think It Takes Two is not going anywhere. I think that's just such a fucking joyful, amazing piece of art, like video game. There's no way that drops off my list. I could see Ratchet and Clank, and or Returnal dropping off, but like it would have to be something pretty special to knock both of the, like there'd have to be a couple really special games to knock both of them off the list. Like I feel like Ratchet and Clank might be one of those honorable mention games for me at the end of the year,
Like
where
number
it's
6.
like where it's like I had a really great time playing, but it didn't, like I said, it didn't move the bar, like, right? Like, so Zach, like, I can tell you confidently, like if you didn't like Ratchet and Clank 2016, it's not that Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart doesn't do a lot of things like, better in a lot of ways, but it's largely the same, type of game. So like if that wasn't for you, like save yourself $70, like, and however much time, like it's just not going to be for you.
I already feel like I know my game of the year, and I don't even know if it qualifies, but I don't care.
If it's Mass Effect, it does not.
It qualifies for me.
Yeah, I mean,
I think of all the PS5 games. I mean, I don't have one yet, but if I were to guess, of all the PS5 games, the one that would be on my list for like a top 5 at the end of the year would probably be Deathloop.
Deathloop,
Yeah,
that's
too.
my most anticipated game, probably like yet to come out this year, like by a country mile.
Horizon would be there, but I really don't think that game's coming in 2021.
Yeah, same.
And Solar Ash, apparently people who looked at that game said that game's hype as fuck. So apparently pay attention to that one.
Yeah, I'll keep it on the radar. I guess I'll wrap. So aside from Ratchet and Clank, I was playing a little Mass Effect 3. I put that on pause so I could, wrap up, because like once I got going Ratchet and Clank, I was like, I can finish this in a week. But I've been doing some achievement hunting in a little game called Dark Souls 3. Like
I saw that. It's
just casually, man. I'm like a fucking moth to the flame, where like I'll go through like my installed games and I always have them installed. And I started a new character on Sunday, and I've got 2 bosses left to do in the main game. Like I'm already almost done, like with a fresh character, and I'm gonna play through the DLC and stuff. But I was like, if I'm gonna play this, like I at least should get something out of it. So I am gonna pursue. I've got like a few achievements. They're really pain in the ass ones, to do, a little grindy. But I've just been putting on podcasts and just casually playing Dark Souls 3, like like I do.
You casually play Dark Souls
Because I know it. Like, listen, man, like Dark Souls 1, 3, and Sekiro and Bloodborne are all games that I just know so well that like I can, even with a fresh character, like just navigate through an area, not die, beat a boss, navigate through the next area, not die, beat the boss. Occasionally have a dumb death, usually completely my fault, like doing some hot shit or like falling off a side or something. But like it takes me a quarter of the time to play those games. Like, I mean, shit, I beat Bloodborne on stream, for a rental rush, a solo rental rush in a weekend, like all the DLC, and like beat the game. So like, it's comfort food for me. Whenever I'm stressed out, paradoxically, I'm drawn to playing a Souls game.
Games.
No, like I find them relaxing, right? Because like I know them so well. Like there's like kind of a familiarity, like right with the boss fights, where it makes me feel good because I'm so good at them and so familiar that like it doesn't have that challenge that it used to. So I can like feel, like a little sense of victory and stuff. I don't know. It sounds...
Whoop your ass.
What's that?
I
So
don't
you can
know.
just talk shit to the bosses as you go through wicked easily. Just be like, you little bitch.
I call slight BS though, because I was there at Guardian Con when Chris was doing his, I don't know if it was Dark Souls 1 or like the
Yeah.
playthrough on the Switch, and I was like,
that was
he doesn't look
Manus.
like he's enjoying himself whatsoever.
Oh, I was not. That was Manus of the Abyss, which is a boss that I had only played a couple of times previously, and admittedly, like I'm still garbage at that boss. Like I do all right, when I play him now.
Do you even
but,
like this game, Chris? See, I know I had not played a Dark Souls game.
There's still those
like,
occasional bosses, like for sure. I mean, like even in 3, like there's a couple of bosses I'm dreading that I haven't gotten to yet that like are just hard.
Before Sekiro, right? And like you're selling me on the Souls games, and I'm like, that shit doesn't look fun at all. You don't look like you're having fun. Like,
So in the Soulsborne community, right, is Bloodborne still considered the champion?
It depends on who you are. I think Dark Souls, the original, still very much in the conversation. I think most people put Bloodborne above like Sekiro, just because like everyone loves that aesthetic and the trick weapons and everything. But yeah, it's up there. I mean, it's usually either like Dark Souls or Bloodborne, like the original Dark Souls or Bloodborne are like kind of considered like the. And then I mean, Sekiro is very high up on the list too, just because it was something that was different, but like.
I think Sekiro is something that appeals more to like the casual Souls people, like someone like me. Like the game is not that hard in between bosses, but those boss fights are freaking cool and pretty rewarding. So I don't know how the other games stack up, but I tried to play one of the Dark Souls games and I was like, nah.
Someday you gotta pick up Bloodborne, dude. Please. Like,
I mean, I will. That one I have committed to playing that one because the game seems the most like what I liked about Sekiro.
Yeah.
So definitely will play it. Might be the next thing I do. I still got to do that Resident Evil stream next week. So.
I told you I got that Amish popcorn. I'm gonna make a big giant batch of gourmet popcorn. I'm going to put you up on the big screen TV, and I'm definitely. I can't wait to watch you shit your pants. Like
I think I might do that next week. And just play that shit on Max, and I have it downloaded and ready to go. I'll probably finish Mass Effect this weekend. I'm so close. So.
What else have you been playing? Anything else besides Mass Effect? So we can kind of
look at my face. Does it look like I've been playing? No, man. I haven't. I can't help myself. I mean, I haven't even touched Destiny. I haven't played Destiny in like a week and a half, 2 weeks. Other than our raid, But dude, just Mass Effect. I don't know if it was how much I hated the ending back then, but I have been so surprised at how much I forgot about Mass Effect 3. I wonder if like the ending left such a bad taste in my mouth that my mind erased some of it.
Yeah, that game got an unfair bad shake. I replayed it about 4 years ago, like when backwards compat was a thing.
Yeah.
And granted, like I was seeing like the updated ending and stuff, but I think that game got way too bad of a rap for like such a small chunk of the game. Like, that's literally just a one little slice. Like
it is like 90%, 99% of that game was a masterpiece, right? Is what I remember, but I don't remember so much of the game and playing through it now. And I also remember I'm traditionally a guy that plays a game once and that's it. I don't go and replay games. So I didn't go and watch, other than watching it on YouTube. I didn't watch those updated endings. I just had my stupid little color and that was it. So
little color.
Yeah, you get your red, green, blue, whatever. I don't know.
Or you can get the so be it.
Yeah. So now going back through it for the first time, and I never played any of the DLCs. Some of the DLCs in 2 were great, but everything in 2 I remembered well, everything, But 3 almost feels like a brand new game to me. I forgot so much of this. But playing it immediately after 2, you can see its shortcomings. Like the most annoying thing in 3 by far is the fact that your quests don't update when you go and you pick these things up out and find someone that has this. It like at least in the first game would tell you where you got to go. It would kind of update the markers for you. It's pretty obvious to find, but that was kind of lame. The lack of hub worlds in the third one for obvious reasons, but I felt like they could have had a little bit more of that. Was unfortunate, but I played through the Omega DLC, which I know, Chris, you haven't yet. That was phenomenal. I think it's up there with the Lair of the Shadow Broker for me personally. It doesn't give you like this extra hub and all these other things, but the actual story is pretty awesome. It introduces a character that I absolutely loved. I won't say more on that because I don't think you've played it yet. But
Know nothing about it.
yeah, really, 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 really cool. I am in the middle of the Leviathan DLC right now, which was super creepy, and I kind of dig that. I'm still in the middle of it, so I haven't finished it yet. But the only thing with obviously with the DLC with 3 is a little disappointing because it all has to be before the end of the game for obvious reasons. But it seems like they're very much lengthy, well done side quests. Because they're almost instants. You jump into an instance and you just kind of go through it. And that's the thing with Omega. Once you start it, you can't come out until you finish it. You are in there until it's done. Leviathan is not quite like that, but it may as well be. You do travel a little bit, but it's very, very much its own thing, progressing on its own. But I wish I could tell you how many hours I put into the game. I can't because the save system is fucked up for me.
Yes, me too.
Oh, you too. Okay.
Yeah, it said I put like 150 hours into Mass
Yeah,
Effect 2,
so-
and then my next save file from like 5 minutes earlier says 4 hours. So I'm
Okay,
like,
so it's
oh,
so it's not just
No.
me. So basically, the game doesn't handle the what's it called, the quick resume well. So if it has if you have quick resume, it assumes that all the time in between your last playthrough, it adds it into your gameplay time.
But it doesn't
Oh,
always
man.
though. Like also
It's
like
inconsistent,
if
yeah.
you restart the game, like I said, some of my saves say like 4 hours, and some say 100 and something. Like
Yeah, you have to exit it, and then instead of like picking up like quick resume, you want to reload your wherever you saved off
I
last.
didn't give a shit. I was like,
So it's like, damn, I wanted to see how much time, but it was all messed up, and that's how it is in 3. In 2, it would just keep resetting my playtime. So I don't know, but I played a lot of it. So that's all I've been playing.
Zach, how about you?
I've been playing a mix of Mass Effect, Gears Tactics, and World War Z. And yeah, I've talked about all of them before. Maybe I don't know about World War Z, but it's fun.
We played that, right, Chris? We played that for like a day or two, like randomly picked it up one day, and we're just like, fuck it, this
Game
is
Pass.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun. It's I don't know. I guess there's a story if you played through all of them. I don't pay attention to any of that. I just go through and mindlessly kill all the zombies. I'm excited though because they're releasing an upgraded version of the game. It's going to be DLC, and they're putting a Series X like version pretty much. That's going to add, they said, hundreds and hundreds more zombies on screen at once. So I'm super excited for that because there's already a shit ton on screen at once. So I'm excited to see how they're able to handle that and how chaotic it's going to be and everything. So yeah, I'm pumped for that. It's getting me even more excited for Back for Blood.
Yeah, that's really good. That's gonna be the meat and potatoes for sure. Of like that kind of style of game. Like I can't wait to have that later in the year.
After the showcase and everything, when they showed off the PvP and like there's like 9 special types of zombies and stuff like in Back for Blood, it's way deeper than I thought it was gonna be, which is awesome because like Left 4 Dead and Left 4 Dead 2 weren't incredibly deep. They were just, the loop was awesome. So I'm excited to see, the added depth to that style of game, how it adds to the longevity and everything.
Yeah. Word. Yeah, Gears Tactics. I know, Adam, you like that as well, right? Like that's one of
Yeah.
those ones where I'm
Played a
like,
lot.
I feel like I should play it at some point because it looked neat.
I'm not a big I'm not a big strategy game kind of guy or anything like that. And I love it. The Gears aesthetic fits perfectly, and it's not too difficult, and I'm enjoying the story. But I'm a big Gears fan, so I enjoy the stories and all of them, even like Judgment and everything. So,
George, did you ever finish 4?
Finish for
Gears 4.
No, I did not. I was playing with your brother for a little bit, and then the Series X came out.
Yeah. I mean, five looks great on the Series X, and it's like
Oh
one
my
of the best
God,
games the year it came out. Like that was like,
especially the new DLC, man, the Hive Busters DLC.
I had a
is
great time with that.
unbelievable.
We had such
Yeah.
a blast. My brother and a friend of ours played.
Yeah, I was having fun with it, and then just the Series X came out, and then just kind of fell by the wayside.
Should happen. Yeah, all the holiday games last year.
Yeah.
Adam, last but not least, man, like what have you been playing, man? What's was spinning in your disk drive or your hard drive, I guess.
Yeah, I did re-download Sea of Thieves, so I'm getting ready for Jack Sparrow because I'm all about that. I'll
Hell
play
yeah.
I'll play the shit out of that over and over again. A lot of content since last time I played, so been trying to mess with that. Also, Knockout City. If y'all gonna play Knockout City with me, let me
Shit,
know.
I gotta play that, man. You guys want to play it today? I'll play that shit tonight.
Can't play it today, but I can play it this weekend. I'm down.
I
Yeah,
can
I'll
play
play
it
with
this
you guys
weekend
this
as well.
weekend for sure.
That game
All
is
right.
great. But the main thing is, I finished Watch Dogs Legion.
Oh yeah.
Finally beat
And?
the story on that. I like the game a lot. I like they've added some new characters with the DLC, and they've had a lot of updates since the game came out. And I've always enjoyed it. Like it just works where, literally look at anybody, get them on your team. I like the game a lot. It's a fun time. A little bit of Watch Dogs Legion. That's how they say it. And George, that's a game that runs in 60 frames with ray tracing on. So there's that.
Yeah, the only problem is that it's Watch Dogs.
I like Watch Dogs. I know you don't like Watch Dogs. I like Watch Dogs, but I beat the game. It's good.
Yeah.
Waiting for the DLC that they showed off with Wrench and Aiden from the first two
Yeah.
games. So
The multiplayer just launched too recently, right?
yeah, multiplayer's pretty fun. It's exactly like GTA Online, where it's like you start from the bottom and like do the stuff in the world to build your rank up.
It's a game that I should love, man, but I've never been able to shake off the bad taste that the first one left. Like
One's
it's
not great.
So
I'm with you on that.
None of them have
Some-
ever had any appeal for me. I love the people like them, or love them.
yeah,
but it's not.
I thought about it because I've seen it go on sale a couple times, and I'm just like, I don't know. There might come a day where I don't have anything to play or something, and then maybe, but I don't know. It doesn't look
Just
not
shove
looking
that
good.
right next to Ratchet and Clank in the
There you
someday
go.
if I have time category.
Yeah, I feel like I'd put Ratchet and Clank ahead because Ratchet and Clank hasn't burned me. Watch Dogs has,
I give you that. But yeah, let's play Knockout City. But that's all I played. I haven't really played shit. I'm in the middle of Mass Effect 2. I just need to finish it at some point.
God, so good, man, so good. I was so tense going into that suicide.
I don't remember
mission.
anything from Mass Effect 2. I thought I did. I don't remember Jack.
Oh man,
You remember Jack?
love it.
Jack's cool as hell.
I don't remember any of her
I'm kidding.
storyline.
I'm kidding.
I completely forgot that you had to go to like a prison. That's great.
Yeah,
So
the
good,
loyalty
man.
missions and the recruitment missions are just so fun. Like the side missions are a slight improvement over the one, but I think where that game
Oh,
shines
two's
is-
way better than 1, without a doubt.
Yeah,
It's
but
not
I
even close.
But I think like where it really shines is like
Loyalty stuff.
really like the loyalty missions you could kind of consider like side quests because they're optional.
Oh,
but they're
I never had Kasuma before. Is that how you say her name?
Kasumi.
Never had her before, and I was like, "Oh, this she's
Yeah,
cool. I like
yeah,
this.
she was DLC. Oh, by the way, I thought I saved everyone, but just a spoiler, not really a spoiler, but Kelly Chambers, the Yeoman.
Oh,
Kelly
you didn't go in time, did you?
No. I saved her. Everybody survived too, but
Oh.
you need to invite her for dinner. You don't romance her. Invite her for dinner and convince her to change her name. I didn't do that, and they fucking offed her in Mass Effect 3.
Yeah.
You didn't change her name? Gone.
No, I didn't invite her to dinner because I was trying to be loyal.
And
but,
she'll feed your fish for you. You got to do it."
Yeah.
she fed my fish, but I don't know, it was weird. But yeah, it's weird. They kill her in Mass Effect 3. They offed her when there's the Cerberus assault on the Citadel. But weird, her name isn't coming up on the memorial thing too. So I guess she's not that big of a deal character wise. But if you don't want her to die, make her change her name. It's the one thing I fucked up in. And she gets such a shitty death. They don't even like it. Just someone tells you, "Oh,
She died.
she died." Like it's like a pat, not even a cutscene. It's like a pat, like
Yeah, at least she
passing
gets
by.
turned into Reaper soup in the second one if you don't get there in time.
Yeah. No, I saved everyone in the second one.
Nice.
So,
Okay.
but yeah, good stuff. Great game, man. Great game.
Well, that brings us to the end of the show for the week. We will be doing our AVP review. We'll be continuing on with that very soon. There's discussions of possibly trying to get a little weekend recording sesh with a little watch party. So stay tuned. I know some of you guys are patiently awaiting our thoughts on Predator 2. What a ride. And
I got some thoughts.
and then Alien 3. I'd be very curious to see what Adam thinks of the assembly cut and then what George makes of the movie overall. I'm one of the people in the camp of I think that obviously doesn't reach the heights of the other two, but I think it's much, much better than it got credit for originally. A lot of people seem to feel that way, so we'll see. And I guess that's it. So have a great weekend, everybody. Thanks for watching / listening, like always, and give us that like, the share, the subscribe, especially the share part. Like, we really do appreciate when you guys give us the retweets, give us the little bit of social media exposure. It really does help the show. So thanks for doing it, and continue to, please. Till next week, we love you.
Go Pats.
Need to stop. That's a bad sign off.